Okay, now I'm going to show you how to hook up one of these flow cells to the pump into the IR and actually have a solution flowing through them while you're wiring data. Firstly, we're going to attach this is an HPLC fitting with this is like 1/16 inch, I think, on the outside. I don't know, it's a standard size. And there's a ferrule that the flat ends needs to be on the end. And you want the tubing and the actual ferrule to be flush, so it needs to be flat there. This comes to the end, and this is going to be the exit out of the solution cell back into the flask. So we're going to have the exit be at the top, because if the exit is at the top, then air bubbles are going to want to move to the top, which means you're going to rinse out your air bubbles really quickly and you won't have air bubbles in your system, which is important. So you just want to tighten that up with your fingers. And then we're going to have the next piece of tubing is going to go into this cell, and it's going to come from the pump. So this is why this one has attachment on both ends. So we're going to screw this to the bottom of the flow cell, and then the other end is going to go into our pump. And this is what the pump looks like. It's a Simdos 02 pump. And if you can look at this part, there's arrows that point in this direction and arrows that point in this direction. That means that is the direction of flow. So it's going to come out here. So we're going to attach this one here so it comes out and flows into the cell. And now we need to attach tubing on this end where it's going to come from a flask. So again, this needs to be this way around. So it needs to be flush. That. So the size of tubing that we're using here has an inner diameter of 200 to 250 micrometers. It's important that you don't use the red peak tubing for this pump. The red peak tubing has a very small inner diameter and it causes an overpressure in the pump, and the pump system will tell you it has an error and there's problems and you won't know what's going wrong, and the reason is because your tubing diameter is too small. So now we can turn the pump on. There's the on button up here and you have to hold it for a few seconds before it turns on. Or hold it until you see the colors in the picture up here. So now we can set the flow rate. So it's a very easy to use pump. There's a stop button, there's a play and a pause button, and then this is the dial that changes units. Right now there's a square, so that's a stop, so it means it's not going, it's stopped. With this we can select so the box is around 4.623 milliliters a minute. So we're going to change that flow rate by, you press the button in and now there's the box is colored, or there's a white. So that means if I turn it, I can change that number. So I'm going to turn it down to about 2. I think that would be good. You can change flow rates and find what works best for your system. Okay, let's go 2.5. I guess we're almost there. 2.5. And so you can select by pressing in. Now I can change the units of milliliters a minute, but I'm going to leave them as milliliters a minute, so I'll press in again. The next one I can change is how many minutes and how many seconds. So right now there are just 2 lines beside it, which means it's infinite, no time. But I can select, I can only run it for, let's say, 2 minutes and then it's going to stop. So this is a specific thing you can change if you want to, but I don't want to do that, so I want it just to stop when I tell it to stop. Okay, so that's good. So that's ready to go. When I'm ready to go now, I can press this button and it'll go to the triangle play mode, and I can press it again and it'll go to pause. So now that we have the pump set up and the IR has been set up, we can put the two together. So remember, we want the bottom to be the tubing that comes from the pump for optimum bubble removals. So the front door can actually come off to make things easier for you. Slide this in. Make sure the tubing is not in the way of the IR beam. Okay. So here's our solution that we're going to use. First, let's get a background solution because that's our actual sample. So we'll run a background of dichloromethane. This is dichloromethane solvent. And you can use dichloromethane solvent with this pump. On the back, we have put a list of solvents you should try to avoid. Although we are getting new O-rings for this system, which are a bit more solvent resistant. So when the new materials, we'll put a new disclaimer on here. That's good. And so let's rinse it out into, and I will just rinse it back into it. So I'm going to press the play button, and it should pump solution through the system.